Steven, I think you're ready. I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. I am one of your hosts of the show, Ayo Shifty Hayes, with my boy Steven. At Twitter, Steven_Springs. We appreciate you guys always end up listening and following, subscribing as well. We're getting close to some of the goals that we have. And when Steven and I first made this, it was like one or two people that end up listening and subscribing. And now we have over 80 people. So for us, that's a lot. I know for some of you all, that's how much you might get in like a day. But it's the growth that we continue to see, especially when we're only doing 1 to 2 videos a week. That's kind of like a big thing for us. Something I just want to mention to everyone now, and then we'll get into everything. I'm working with a couple of NFT companies. I want to start doing like a weekly Twitter Spaces. I'll end up seeing how this goes, and then maybe we can try to incorporate this into our weekly podcast. I'll see if we can do like YouTube and Twitter Spaces at the same time. Don't want to get too confusing yet, but that's what I end up wanting to do. Steven, what you got with the quick slants?
Yeah, so I actually had some time last night to record an episode that's coming out. I'll put out tonight, 9:00. So that'll be on Spotify. Talked about the combine, the Penn State guys that went to the combine. Talked about some of the other performers, some of the top performers in the combine. I don't know how much of the combine you saw, or it was a weird format. And I actually totally forgot to mention this when I was recording it. The format was different because they had fans there, which I don't really like. I don't really like that. Exactly. You know, like it's like I love trust me, I love the combine as much as the next football nerd. But you know, I don't need to watch it in person. Like, you know what I mean? Like unless I'm sitting there on the field timing the 40s, then I don't need to be there. So, or unless I'm like you let me come down on the field and toss passes to the receivers. Like I'm not like, you know, I don't really care to be there, but usually it's all in the mornings. Like the position groups were all the same.
That joint went late.
Yeah, bro. That shit was over like midnight. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you know, I couldn't like, I had to watch the highlights. I had to watch on YouTube. Usually I'll watch it live. You know, even if I'm working, I'll just have it on the iPad. It's like usually in the morning and it's done by like 2:00, 3:00. And you can like watch the 40s, but like, you know, with so many other games going on with the NBA and hockey and basketball, March Madness is picking up. That was poor planning on the part of the NFL. I get they wanted to have the fan experience there, and that's probably the only time fans can come. That joint started at like 4:00 in the afternoon and went until like 11. And there was a lot of like, I didn't see this. I didn't see anyone comment about it, but I mean, I don't know if that had anything to do with some like the maybe lesser times that certain guys ran, or like guys didn't want to like think they waited all day. They had to go through the interviews. They had to do like this and that. So I don't know if it took a little bit of juice. I feel like it definitely took a little bit of juice off the entire event itself. But you know, all these guys have their pro days to go to, and you know how it goes. The timers at the pro days are a lot quicker there at the combine. So those guys who ran 4.5s at the combine are going to run 4.2s at the pro days, which is how it goes every year. So we talked about that. I gave a little bit of headlines for Penn State spring practice, which is about to kick off in, well, a couple of weeks. So talk about some headlines of that. Talked about the Calvin Ridley news, talked about the Aaron Rodgers news, talked about the Russell Wilson news, touched about all that stuff. This was a little bit longer than usual, but that's out tonight at 9:00. So I'll be sure to post that on Twitter, like you said, at Steven_Springs, and then you can go like it on Spotify. So I'll put that out tonight about 9:00.
Yes, sir. So we'll touch on the sports stuff in a little bit. I got some things for Steven. So the first one, did you see this one?
Yes, I just saw that. You retweeted this. I did see this. Which is like, it's just at the mall. It's the mall, right?
Yes. So I'll let Steven comment and look at this.
Like, bro, it's at the mall. Like, you can't be surprised that this happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this is, what like kind of virtual reality this is for, but like, dude, any type of thing like this at the mall, there's no way you can trust it.
No. So for everyone that didn't see it, and you guys are listening, if you're driving or doing other things, there's a girl doing a virtual reality thing. I'll call her a young lady, so that sounds better. But they're in the mall, and there's escalators in the background. That doesn't mean anything, but they're in the mall. And think of those different rides you'll have at an amusement park where it'll turn and you'll be sitting in the seat and turn. Well, they got this with virtual reality. So she has the goggles with the glasses on and she starts to turn. She's basically turning right. For us looking at it, it's left, but in her view, it's right. And she's turning and she only gets sideways. First off, Steven, right here is when I knew some shit was just going to go back.
First of all, look at her facial expression the whole time. It never changes.
No,
she's just like,
I'm not
she thinks,
for this.
she probably thinks that like what's happening to her or what's about to happen is supposed to happen.
Exactly.
So she's just rolling with the punches, and then shit just breaks. Like someone missed like 4 or 5 or like 10 bolts. Like no one bolted that. Look at that. All right, you can't can you go back to like the 5-second mark? Go back like a second right before it's like falling. I'm pretty sure this thing's just on wheels. Like the platform itself is just on wheels. Like it's not bolted. Like go forward a little bit. So look right when it comes up. You can see this little black thing right there. That's a wheel, bro. Like this thing's on wheels. They wheeled it from the food court down to this end, and they said here, all right, let's set it up here where Santa Claus used to be at.
That's really what happened.
This is what's going on at malls these days because no one shops. Like I want to see like the continuous version of this video to see what happened with this girl or what her opinion was. I don't think she got hurt. Like, I don't think there's
it looked like she was fine.
Yeah, I don't think she would have gotten hurt for this, but
because she has the glasses on. But if she didn't have the glasses on, she could start acting a damn fool and acting like a lot of things happen. And speaking of acting a fool, I have to do this because we always like a good James. This is a Shaq one. So did you see this?
No. Bro, what is this man doing now? What is he doing?
Okay,
is this his house?
I want you to also tell me if you know what this is.
What's he doing? I don't know what it is, but what is Shaq doing? Is that his house? Good Lord, dude. He's too damn big to be doing that type of stuff, man. He is too damn big.
So
Shaq just Shaq just does what Shaq just does whatever he just does whatever he wants.
He really does. For everyone out there, I'm not going to tell you the song. You guys have to listen to the beat and then look it up yourself. It's an old school beat for everyone out there. We'll segue into the cryptocurrency stuff super fast because we have a hell of a lot to talk about in the sports world, and sports just seemed like every single day. It reminded me of when Steven and I were talking before on the show, when every single day it just seemed like some sort of sports thing that was just popping off, whether it was NFL, NBA. Actually, matter of fact, I do got to show this to Steven because we did not get to bring this up last week. And it's a damn shame that I did not get to talk about my.
Oh, yeah. No. No. I know where you're going with this. I'm not doing it because I know you're going to, I'm going to say some dumb shit and we're going to get kicked off the web. We're not doing that. I know exactly what I'm not talking about Kevin. I'm not talking about that shit. I already told you what I thought about it. I already texted you what I thought about it. I'm not doing that shit. You're not going to get me trapped in that because damn well I would say some ignorant stuff that would cause us to be shut down. So, and we'd have to write a formal apology. You would lose your job. I'd lose my. No, we're not doing that. Not doing that, bro.
So going into.
First of all, I already felt guilty enough when I texted you. By the way, if you remember when I texted you, I felt guilty enough pressing. I had to hover over send for a hot second before I sent that to you because I felt guilty enough sending it. But yeah, nonetheless.
Oh my God. So we'll end up touching on the cryptocurrency stuff. For everyone out there, you can look up Pixelmon and you guys can look up your thoughts. But in terms of cryptocurrency, the price of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin did increase recent being today. Joe Biden, aka Joe B for some people out there, he did sign an executive order that did say that they were going to look more in depth into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and look into the rules and regulations. And then also for everyone else out there, if you live in Virginia or wondered what happened in Virginia, so US senators and then also some of the mayors and stuff submitted a bill back in January, and it got approved unanimously to allow Virginia banks to custody Bitcoin and hopefully down the line cryptocurrency. And they're just waiting on Mr. Youngkin to end up approving it, who is the governor of Virginia. So once that gets approved, we will be good to go in Virginia. Since it was unanimously approved by the Senate, it will get approved, but looking forward to that. So those are two big things that did happen in terms of cryptocurrency. The only thing I wrote down in my notes to talk about Russia and Ukraine, only thing I'm going to bring up with them, one, it's wild in Russia and Ukraine. Two, Bitcoin is staying afloat to an extent a little bit more than the stock market. Reason being, when they shut down banks in Ukraine and Russia, and with everything that's going on there, you were able to submit donations in Bitcoin. So that is helping the price because people are able to still depend on Bitcoin. These are one of the many reasons why Bitcoin will always be around, because when you shut down a financial system, you can't shut down cryptocurrency because it is decentralized. Not one person controls it. So you're able to end up sending it. I was talking to some of my clients earlier with Shift Movement before we got to this, and I can send money to some of my friends in Europe. So there could be like a cryptocurrency and I can send it to them and it'll get to them in less than like 10 seconds. And with Bitcoin, you're able to send it. Not one person can shut off the system because with Bitcoin, there's over 5 to 10 validators that have to approve all transactions. You would have to find all the different computers that are nodes around the world and shut them all off before that can happen. I can promise you there's only one person that might know where that is, and that's Satoshi Nakamoto, whether it's a he, him, her, or if it's a them. So that's when it comes to the cryptocurrency stuff. Something else that I wanted to end up touching on is commodities. So in terms of the stock market, today they didn't have necessarily a good day, but a lot of the commodities when it comes to wheat, oil, we're not even getting into the oil price because them shits are through the roof right now.
No, thank you.
But
no, thank you.
But wheat, nickel, copper, energy, a lot of those things are going up. Energy isn't a commodity, but wheat is a commodity. Gold, silver, if you look into them, I have heard of people buying silver. And a lot of these commodities are going up. They're trying to find different hedges with everything going on. NFT prices, some of them are starting to go up. It depends on which ones you look at. Art in general, real estate is doing things as well. But I just wanted to touch on commodities that are going up. The oil per barrel was a big thing. If you look at Exxon, Chevron, Shell, Marathon Oil, all those have been hitting all-time highs recently. And it just goes right hand in hand with the gas prices that you see. Some of my friends
I'm about to start walking everywhere, bro.
Yeah, I know. Some of my friends live in California. Their gas was already over $5 before all this. Their gas is now at like $8, $9. So
is it going to come down at all anytime soon?
You got it. So they're saying, first off, everyone thinks that Russia has all this oil and Saudi Arabia has all the oil. America is the main creators of, they have a lot of oil here, but we use so much more oil than we have. So we have to rely on Saudi Arabia. We have to rely on Russia, but we're cutting off our stuff with Russia and their oil, but that's forcing gas prices to go up. To answer your question, probably not. I told some people, I think that we can see $5.30 damn near for gas in some places because it's over $4 right now. It's ridiculous. So in DC, it already is, but DC doesn't count. California doesn't count. If you guys have luxury vehicles, I feel so bad for you because your gas is damn near like $60 to fill up your tank, if not 70. If you are a plane or if you are the 18-wheelers, I feel terribly bad because I saw at one of the pumps, it was like $500 to fill up a truck. So miss me with that. But that's the truckers. And that's what they mean by why are the prices for goods going up? It's going up because if gas is going up, then that's going to end up forcing how much they charge people to ship things to go up, which is then going to force all the other things to go up, going in turn with the supply chain issues. All the shit's going up. But to answer the question, it's going to continue to go up probably for a little bit longer. I think some of it, they can use it as an excuse, but then also the price per barrel is going to continue to go up. So everything's going to just keep going up. I've even seen it with oil that you get for your car. That's going up too. So not just gasoline, but like oil changes are becoming more expensive.
Oh man.
Yeah. Going into other things, I wanted to say congrats to everyone that listened to me when I talked about Yaku, because if you end up getting into Yaku, you probably at least made $500 to $600 on each of the different sweets and capsules that you did have. For everyone out there that follows me on Twitter, you noticed that that was one of my top calls for NFTs of the month. and it did do well. The top NFTs I have for this month, outside of DGOT, because I always talk about them, but I have Best Buds, which is a big in the cannabis industry, and then Solana Money Boys. They're both focusing on women's empowerment and like Women's Month. So they're both going to create, Best Buds is creating a Mary Jane, which is going to be a line of the female NFTs, and the Solana Money Boys are creating a Solana Money Girls. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they end up doing. Some of the prices are going down, but that's because the price of Solana is going down as well. My two last things are Goldman Sachs is going to start offering Ethereum trading to their clients. Of course, it's not going to be to every single client. It's going to be to the wealthy investors to start. And then down the line, it might trickle down. And I want everybody out there to start looking into Oasis protocol. So the ticker is Rose. They're another blockchain that are doing major things out there. So looking at them, I'll wrap this up and we can get into sports, because if anybody that knows me knows, I don't know why, but I really like Greek mythology and stuff like that. And my favorite one, I always was like, I wish I could be Poseidon. Well, long and behold, that we do have a cryptocurrency now called Poseidon. So I will show this to you guys, and then we can get on with life itself.
Of course we do, right?
Yeah.
Like, of course we do. Yo, where's what about the homies Shiba Inu? What's going on?
So
the homies, I gotta give a shout out all the time, bro.
Yeah. So Shiba Inu is going down like the rest of them. Oh, here we go. But meme coins aren't doing as well. But shout out to Poseidon. I found it today randomly, and I'm already up 2x on my investment. I found out that Poseidon Finance is actually developed and created by the founders of Scary Cross Chain, which they were built on Phantom. But if anyone knows, Phantom has been having a lot of issues. So a lot of people are migrating over, and they've been going over to Metis. So Metis is a big protocol that I am a huge fan of. The mother of Vitalik Buterin, who is the creator of Ethereum, she has been helping to work with Metis. So a lot of people have been being built on top of Metis. So I'm looking forward to the future of them. But all that is fine and good, but we'll get into some of the major stories in the sports world. So for all my crypto people, I appreciate you guys as always. First thing we'll segue with into the sports world is LeBron James filed 4 patents into the NFT and metaverse. So look out for what LeBron James is going to do. Another person that has already done it, Shaq, has created like an NFT line. Another one that has done it, Kyle Kuzma, and the boys over there, they kind of did their, yeah. So they're working on their like space runners. So look that up on Magic Eden. Wanted to just use that as a segue. But the big story out of all the stories in sports, Carson Wentz got traded. So,
oh yeah, I forgot about that, right? After all the things we've been through.
Exactly. And before we get into the scouting combine, the other sports stories that don't matter as much, I just want to say the Eagles took a win in this past year. Because if you all remember, the Eagles received a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. It was contingent upon how much he played, but if you guys looked at how the trade rolled out for them, for starters, the Commanders didn't ask for Carson Wentz as their number one option. They called every single team, and the Colts are like, shit, we'll give you him. So they traded it basically for a 2022 second and third round pick and a 2023 third round pick. The annoying part about this is if you guys looked at everything, they swapped second round picks. So it was really just third round picks that were in the deal. And then like Carson Wentz. But that was the deal. So now Carson Wentz is going to be on the Commanders. Of course, they have like that, however much he plays, it's like 70%. It'll be dropped down to a second round pick. So what are your thoughts on Carson Wentz?
I think it's good for Washington. Look, he's not ass anymore, like, or yet. He's 29, so he doesn't turn 30 until the end of the season, basically. I mean, he's my age, he's our age, which is wild. And people forget, like, he was the leading MVP candidate the year they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like
until he blew out his knee, he was the leading MVP candidate and likely going to win. He finished, I think, third in MVP voting that year. Like, he's got some inconsistencies. He's probably
some.
Look, all right. Chill.
Yeah.
Like he's probably on a good, like, when he has a good day, when he's slinging out there, I mean, he's definitely a top 15 quarterback. Like he's mobile. He can throw a good ball. He can throw a deep ball. Like, of course, they have to have a team around him, and defense is going to be, a question with Chase Young. Who knows when he's going to come back? I mean, he messed his knee up at the end of the season, so I haven't heard anything about when he's projected to be coming back. But I mean, that division is kind of wide open. You never really know who's going to run away with it or even be close to running away with it. Thought the Cowboys were, but they kind of faltered. The Eagles, we can get into that later.
We'll talk about them later. They got 3 picks. They better not mess it up.
The Giants are looking to potentially trade Saquon Barkley, which I heard the market for him is like a 4th-round pick, which is outrageous. Like that is outrageous that the market is like a 3rd or 4th-round pick for Saquon Barkley. That's ridiculous. But so that division is pretty much up in the air. I think it's good. Good for the Commanders, which is still a stupid name, but good for them. Good for Carson Wentz getting another fresh start.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say this last thing because I try to listen. I think I've listened to them more recently, but Pat McAfee show is one I'll watch.
Okay, time out. I sorry to interrupt you, but I got to. I was going to forget to say this. So I love Pat McAfee. Huge fan. Like I've watched him since college when he was at West Virginia. He's fucking crazy. So I'm a big pro wrestling fan, which I think you and I've occasionally talked about this before. Mm-hmm. So he does some pro wrestling stuff like announcing on SmackDown, which is one of their premier shows along with Monday Night Raw. For anybody who doesn't know, are you a fan? Or were you a fan back in the day?
I used to love watching wrestling.
Yeah. I think every guy our age when that Attitude Era came in, like the late 90s, early 2000s, like I watched every Monday night, me and my dad. Between that and Monday Night Football, we would watch all the time. So I just kind of fell off over time just because I didn't care as much. But nonetheless, so Pat McAfee, he does his show live every day. He had Vince McMahon. And if anybody who doesn't know who Vince McMahon is, he's the owner and creator of the WWE. He's not the creator, but he's the CEO and whatnot. His father created the WWE basically back in the day. But like I have been watching it since I was like 10. Maybe younger. I have never seen an interview like this with Vince McMahon. It was perfect. Vince isn't going to give away secrets. He's not going to talk about the production. He's not going to talk about how they like the deep dark secrets of the WWE. You can go find that on other platforms. But it was just like an open conversation. Like he was super. I don't know. It's just like a different side of him that like personally I've never seen before in any interviews, but I've never seen him do interviews before. Because he's always so goddamn busy, like traveling and doing the production for the show. He's at every show. Like he's like, one of the, like, he's a genius, billionaire genius. He knows he doesn't take anybody's shit, but, and if anybody is interested or anybody listening is a WWE fan, I would go look up, it's about an hour and a half or so. I would go look up the Pat McAfee interview with him. So just want to give a little plug to the Pat McAfee show.
Mm-hmm.
So but anyway,
no, only thing I wanted to say. So a couple of things. One, I love watching Pat McAfee show. I also have started listening to Bussin' with the Boys. That's another one.
It's another good one. Yeah. Shout out to the boys.
So shout out. I'll listen. I said all that because in the pivot I'll listen to, but I said all that because Pat.
I love how you said that too. Yeah. Like in the pivot again, of course. Nice. But, good touch.
Pat McAfee said Carson Wentz is the number one player that you have to be glued in for every single play. And if you just heard that, you'd be like, what? Are you serious? But I fully agree because he said, you never know what the hell Carson Wentz is going to do. He can put up the best throw ever, or he could damn near die on the field. Like,
yeah, no, facts
hurt
though.
Both his ankles on the same
facts.
play.
Like, so yes.
I said that because as an Eagles fan, I've seen exactly what Carson Wentz can do. He used to be amazing. I went to Carson Wentz's first ever start, and I saw him when he came to Washington as well. And I'll probably go see him when he plays the Commanders against the Eagles. But you never know what the hell Carson Wentz is going to do. So Ron Rivera is going to have to get that taken care of. I am interested to see what ends up happening. in Indianapolis as well, because they're focusing their team around Jonathan Taylor. You can see they started doing that, getting rid of Carson Wentz. So all I'm going to say is now for Washington, if you want to pick up Antonio Gibson for fantasy, I would recommend doing that. I don't know what kind of season Terry McLaurin will have, but segueing into the next one, that boy, Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts?
So speaking of Pat McAfee, he has Aaron Rodgers on every week. Usually every Tuesday or Wednesday, but Rodgers during the offseason, it's hit or miss. But the first report that came out was Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network said that Rodgers was re-signing with the Packers, which I think a lot of people assumed. I didn't think he was ever leaving Green Bay. I mean, you heard all the reports about Denver was number one. The Commanders, I think, were in the conversation. Stillers were in there, which I would have loved, obviously, but like that wasn't going to happen. So you go back to Green Bay. The report was he's going back to Green Bay, 4 years, $200 million, 153 guaranteed. And then, McAfee tweeted out, that's wrong. That's not correct. And then McAfee went on his show and said that Rodgers had texted him, called him in the morning, and was like, hey, you can go ahead. Like, I'm busy right now, but you can go ahead and tell the world, basically, I'm coming back, but it's going to be a team-friendly deal, whatever that means. They franchise tagged Devontae Adams.
Those went hand in hand.
Yeah, of course. But then it was a trickle effect. And, I'm sure the next segue is going to be to Russell Wilson, so I'll just do it for you. But that was a trickle-down effect. Like Carson Wentz was a trickle-down effect of the Commanders not getting, Aaron Rodgers and not getting Russell Wilson. So then the biggest thing with Aaron Rodgers, if he didn't go to Green Bay, he said Denver was in there, he said, but also retirement. So I take it for what it's worth. I think he was always going back to Green Bay, even though him and upper management have always butted heads. He seems like a guy that's easy to butt heads with. But regardless, in Denver, a handful of hours later, the news came out that they were trading for Russell Wilson. They traded 2 first-round picks, and I talked about this on the Quick Stance tonight. Yesterday. Yes. 2 first-round picks, the number 9 overall pick this year, and a first-round pick next year. 2 second-round picks, number 40 overall this year, and 1 next year, and a fifth-round pick, which is I believe this year, for Drew Lock and Noah Fant, their tight end, for Russell Wilson, and I think a 4th-round pick. So
Shelby was involved too.
Like
Shelby.
D Lyman. That gives them the number 9 overall pick. They also released Bobby Wagner, which, I mean, shout out to Bobby Wagner for being the most underrated player in the NFL. Having watched the Seahawks since basically he came into the league because of Jay Hill, I knew about Bobby Wagner, which, football fans like you and I, we know the great players. We know who they are. You can't hide them. But like Bobby Wagner is probably one of the most underrated players that we've had over the last handful of years. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a 7 or 8 time, I think 8 time All Pro, not Pro Bowler, All Pro. Which that's like those are like Aaron Donald numbers. Bajillion tackles in Seattle. He's got all the numbers. So they released him. He's still pretty young. I think he's early 30s. So I'd love the Steelers to pick him up. That'd be dope.
So
at least Wagner. My microphone's going out again. Can you hear me? Yeah. And then Denver gets Russell Wilson, and then the trickle down effect was today. The Commanders having to go with their 15th option.
It really was
picking up Carson Wentz. So it was crazy. It's like the NFL never sleeps. It's just like it just keeps dominating the headlines, even when the season's nowhere close to being started. You talk about the combine, all these trades, all these signings, the news. It's just like it never stops.
So going into the Russell Wilson one, because I found this out today from 2 different sources, the Eagles are a part of that situation. And Russell Wilson, as he has a no trade clause, said no. So this means multiple different things. It means 1, the Eagles are not where they're supposed to be, which I knew that. They have a lot of things that they need to do. 2, you also probably have to wonder about the division, because Russell Wilson went to now probably arguably the toughest division there is when you have to, one of the good quarterbacks is not making it. Unfortunately, all 4 teams can't make it to the playoffs. Yeah. You have Mahomes, which that spot is almost a lock. You have Justin Herbert with the Chargers, which they just re-signed Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So
that big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. It just shows you the connection that they're going to have. And then you also have Derek Carr, which the Raiders are going to find a way to get a little better. If they made the playoffs last year with the shit of a season they had, you can only imagine that they're going to do a little better this year. But the Broncos, and I said this is so good for Jerry Jeudy and very good for Courtland Sutton. It helps as well for Tim Patrick. So anyone out there that didn't know who Tim Patrick is, promise after this year, Russell Wilson knows how to use 3 receivers.
And that ball travels differently in Denver.
It does.
So he's going to be throwing 80-yard bombs instead of 60.
Hell yes.
Bombs, bro.
Yes.
Bombs.
So, and then you have Javonte Williams in the backfield. So he's going to do well. Just look at the way that Russell Wilson uses running backs. I was talking with some of my people in the D-Guys community because we were talking about how many receptions different people in the running backs got. Rashad Penny was getting catches. Chris Carson, when he was healthy, was getting completions. A lot of these running backs will get reception. I don't know what's going to happen with Melvin Gordon going forward. I personally don't think they necessarily need to spend that money. Melvin Gordon, you're very similar to Dennis Schroeder. Y'all both fumbled your bag, but that's what they can end up doing. So I do believe the Broncos are going to be set up. Do I think that they're going to make the Super Bowl in the first year? I don't know. It might take some time because you still have Josh Allen. You still have Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson is going to basically be on prove-it deals because according to what I've heard, he's probably going to be doing 1 or 2 franchise tags. Apparently the word is when he came off the shop with LeBron and them, he had a new way of looking at contracts and how it should end up going. So he might do his 2 franchise tags and then he's going to be looking for that fat deal after that because franchise tags are guaranteed money. And of course, Captain Kirk is the king of knowing how to franchise tags go when he was in his time.
Also, the Broncos isn't that great, right? I mean, like, it's not an elite defense. Did you lose me again?
You kind of went in and out. They were a top 3 defense last year, but so they were top 3. They had a lot of young players.
Fuck me, right?
No. But in terms of, there weren't elite defenses last year. I would say the best defenses, you had the Cowboys for different reasons. You had the Broncos that were up there with their defense as well. And I don't know, those are like the Rams came alive late down the road as well. But I think the big reason they're focusing on Patrick Surtain. That's who's going to be the one because my man's going to be stopping people on one side. And I think this helps that defense a lot. Having Russell Wilson is going to heighten your defense so much more. Look at when the Legion of Boom was there. When you had to go up against Russell Wilson every single time, they're going to make each other better. Now, with that being said, that whole Seattle team is gone. There is really nobody.
Literally, they're all gone.
Yeah. And what's crazy is somebody, I think it was Bobby Wagner, somebody said Sherm was right. And Richard Sherman was saying shit about that whole organization way back when. You let your pieces go.
Pete Carroll and John Schneider, the general manager, both outlasted that entire like regime of players.
Yes. And you can think what you want but it does say something. If they outlast,
it's all because they didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl and they threw a fucking interception.
That's really what this comes back down to. That's really how this is. They easily would have won at least 1 to 2 more Super Bowls. But after that, everything just went downhill. That was the big thing that I wanted to bring up with that over there. Before we keep going with more stuff, did you hear about everything with Amari Cooper and how they said they called Dak Prescott the Black Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I saw that. I wanted to bring that up, but I didn't know how to bring that up. So yeah, I did see that though.
So the big thing about that is they're saying that Amari Cooper is going to be released. That's huge for different reasons. One, Steven, I would talk to Steven about this a lot. Two players I really liked in college, everyone knows, was Jalen Hurts, and then I really wanted CeeDee Lamb. And this now means that CeeDee Lamb is going to be the number one receiver out there, but also my man who was I forget who the number 3 receiver was, but he's now moving up to number 2. I don't know why I keep slipping his name up, but
Gallup.
Yeah, Michael Gallup. So Michael Gallup, as long as like contract and everything, he'll be number 2. This does say that Zeke is going to have to start getting more touches, and Dalton Schultz, who they franchise tag. We'll get into the franchise tags in a second. But what are your thoughts on the whole Amari Cooper thing and then him being released? They save cap.
I mean, sure, I get it. I get the cap part of it, but like I don't know how we just like fell off. Like I don't know how that happened. I think I mean, if you got to pick between Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb,
yeah.
I mean, like, is it really that cut and dry that CeeDee Lamb is better than Amari Cooper? I mean, Cooper had some injuries, but like Dak Prescott has also shown over the last couple of years that I know he had some MVP chance at the beginning before we got hurt, and then the beginning of last season, but we see how the season unfolded for them. Zeke isn't the Zeke that he was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Defenses, outside of Micah Parsons and Diggs, the Cowboys are a mystery, but I don't know if releasing Amari Cooper is the answer to that question. I get the salary cap reasons for it, and you got to make business decisions, but that's a big piece to lose.
The other big piece who they're saying might get cut or released is D-Law because of money. So all this just goes back to anyone that thinks that the Cowboys are ever going to win a Super Bowl in these next couple of years, they almost shoot themselves in the foot with a lot of these things because every year they do it in some random way. It happens because Amari Cooper, I'll never forget when they traded those first round picks or second round picks from the Raiders, and they got him. Everyone thought, oh, this is going to be it. You got Dak, you got Coop, you got Zeke, and then you even added CeeDee Lamb to this. They got wherever Cooper goes, he's still good. That's the thing. I remember when it was Kevin White and Amari Cooper when they had those discussions.
He's not that old yet either.
No, he's in probably his 20s.
Yeah, he's still like probably mid 20s or so.
Yeah,
he's probably not that close. He's probably close to 30.
Cooper's
I guess,
only 27.
Yeah, bro, he's still got ways to go.
So
I don't know. Like, I get it. I get the money aspect of things, but like that's just a huge piece to lose, especially if you're trying to win a title. Huge piece to lose.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's not my money.
No. So we touched on a lot of the quarterback stuff. Before we keep going with that, I just want to talk to everyone about the top paid quarterbacks for this upcoming season. I don't know if Steven heard it or not, but the number one quarterback that's going to be paid is Matthew Ryan. He is going to be making $48 million this upcoming year. Kirk Cousins, aka Mr. King of knowing how to finesse the system, is going to be making $45 million. Deshaun Watson, keep in mind, Deshaun Watson was still getting paid last year just to sit out. Deshaun Watson, if he plays, will be making $40 million. Of course,
I heard the Seahawks are interested in him.
Yeah, I know. His fate will be determined on Friday, a lot of people say, because of the grand jury and everything. And then Ryan Tannehill is going to be making $38.6 million just to give the ball to Derrick Henry. So those crazy. Are the big ones. Yeah. And
that's
just
so disappointing.
Yeah. So in terms of money and disappointing things, we're going to talk about some wins and losses. And what are your thoughts on Calvin Ridley? And talk to us about what happened with Mr. Ridley.
Okay. All right.
Because I agree with Steven on this.
All right. I have a very, very stern opinion about this. So Calvin Ridley, Atlanta Falcons wide receiver, suspended for the entire 2022 season for gambling on games when he was away from the team at the end of last season. I think it was middle of November-ish. He bet $1,500 on I don't know how many games. I think someone said it was like an 18 parlay, whatever. Doesn't matter. I understand the principle of like not betting on games, like not betting on your sport. Cool. If that's the hill you want to die on, fine. But this is the NFL we're talking about, the most hypocritical league in all of sports. You got dudes who are beating their wives on camera. You got dudes who are beating their wives. You got dudes who are PEDs. You got guys who are getting DUIs. You got guys who are getting caught with other illegal drugs, who are getting a slap on the wrist, 2-game suspension, or, Josh Gordon is the outlier in terms of the drugs. He's been suspended for multiple seasons, I think, and still getting second chances. Yeah. But, dudes who do all those other negative things that either A, hurt themselves, or B, hurt the people around them, like they just kind of brush it off. Oh, we deserve a second chance. Fucking Calvin Ridley might not ever play again.
I know.
Like that's a real possibility. So I think that's you should not bet on your team. You should not bet on your team and then impact the outcome of the game. That's that's aggressive. Right. Totally fair. But if you're just betting on the Packers and the Lions spread, or the Ravens Steelers over under, and you're betting $1,500 total on a handful of that, who cares?
Yeah.
And in the NFL, again, most hypocritical league, sports gambling is everywhere. It's almost going to be in every state. You can do it right on your phone. You can do it maybe you should have somebody else do it for him. I think you texted me and told me you're joking. Yeah, have somebody else do it for you, bro. Sure, fine. But it's not that big of a deal. None of the games that he bet on were impacted. None of the games, I don't think he bet on the Falcons. If you bet on your team, okay, in certain instances, that's one thing. But again, bro, Michael Vick went to jail for over 2 years. Yeah. And there's other reasons why he went to jail longer than he probably should have. But come on. Dante Stallworth killed a man with his car, DUI style, and spent less, way less time than Michael Vick did in jail. Right. So Ray Rice, we saw what he did. We literally saw what he did. 2 games. 2 games. Zeke's had his issues. All these guys, PEDs, none of these guys get suspended for a whole season. And he's losing out on $11 million. That's got to be the worst bet in the history of bets. You bet 1,500 bones and end up losing out on $11 million. So I hope he gets reinstated. But with the way the NFL is, he should. Because sure, you get your suspension over with, and you can apply for it in February once the season's over, whatever. But I say this when these types of things happen. I would be shocked if he plays again, just because how the NFL is with
how they do this to people.
The betting. Yeah. So they're definitely gonna make an example out of him. And the example, I was a full season. I guess I'm assuming that's somewhere in contracts or rules or whatever. And I forget who was saying this. It might have been the Pat McAfee show. But apparently when you go into NFL team facilities and whatnot.
Yeah, it was Pat.
It's all over the place. It's we don't do this. And I get it. I totally get it. If you're betting on the outcome of games and you're somehow influencing them, that's one thing. That's not cool. But if you're just for shits and giggles betting on the spread of a game, is that really that big of a deal? I don't know. I think it's very, very overblown, and I don't think people should really care about it that much. We should be worried about the dudes who are beating their wives and taking illegal drugs, steroids, DUIs. Hello, it's a DUI, man. Last time I checked, you can lose your license, you can be in jail for a hot second, multiple fines. Bro, again, this is what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Where else on earth? What other fucking job that you have? If you got a DUI, if you went out tonight and you got a DUI, bro, Freddie Mac is not bringing you back.
No.
If I went out and got a DUI this weekend, I'm not going back to work on Monday.
Nope.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely
None of us
not.
are. None of us are. But again, if you're a professional athlete and you get a DUI, there's always some excuses about it, about maybe why you got the DUI or whatever. Bro, the NFL paid, you can get literally anybody from the team that you're on. That's a non-player to come pick you up.
Yes.
And we've all been in those altered states of being intoxicated and not thinking straight. I'm guilty of that. But like you have there's so many other problems that the NFL has. That you can't really betting $1,500 on some games on an 18 parlay. Like they have so many other problems than that. I think it's just ridiculous.
Going into franchise tag stuff, because I wanted to save time for the scouting combine. So franchise tags that did come out, of course, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, as you all know, Dalton Schultz is another one, and Mike Gesicki. So
Penn State Pride.
Yep. So those are the big ones in terms of franchise tags. Scouting combine, because I know Steven's going to touch on it, but what were your takes from it? Were there any people that like stood out to you? What are your thoughts on it?
Jordan Davis from Georgia. Like we've seen dudes who are 300 plus pounds run crazy 40 times. Like Aaron Donald's done it. Don Terry Poe from I think Memphis he was like 350 running like a crazy 40 high fours. Jordan Davis is a defensive lineman from Georgia, 6'6", 340 pounds. Right.
Yes.
I mean, ran a 4.78, which is as official 4.78, bro. He was moving. Like that is probably what a real life grizzly bear looks like running after you.
Yes.
Like, dude, I it's just like, it's crazy what these guys can do. And like, we see it all the time in games and whatnot, but it's like, it's different. I don't know. It's just different when it's the combine and it's like all the tests that like we all wish we were good at, like the vertical leap, the bench press. Like I wish I could bench press 225 25 times. Sure, of course I do. I wish I could have a 38-inch vertical leap, but these dudes are 300 plus pounds running like 4.7s, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. So, Penn State guys, I talked about that on the Quick Slants, which will be out tonight, 9:00, Spotify. Talked about that. Penn State guys had some good numbers, which they've been doing that over the last. Jahan Dotson ran a 4.4. So did Jaquan Brisker, ran a 4.4. So those guys, it's more so for a lot of these guys at the combine, it's just solidifying yourself, at the top, or like, okay, we expect so-and-so to come in here, run this time, jump this, have these kind of ball skills, have these kind of fluid hips, all those kind of good terms. And that's just kind of, for a lot of guys, the upper echelon of the draft class, that's what the combine is, solidifying your place, solidifying your numbers. Okay, yes, what we saw on tape, he does have this kind of quickness. And then for other dudes, it's like, okay, hey, this guy who we thought was maybe like a seventh round pick or like a free agent, he ran a 4.43 or 4.3, did this in the, look good with the drills and this and that, interviewed well. Hey, he might be a 4th round pick. So you just made yourself an extra, couple $100,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the combine. I love the draft. I love the whole process. Having seen Jay Hill go through it and, live through that was kind of cool. So I've always been a fan of the combine, but it's just nuts to see these dudes who are so big go through this. And like these are the rarest of rare athletes on the planet.
Yeah.
Like basketball players are cool, soccer players, baseball, awesome. Yes. But like these dudes are 300 pounds and they can jump through the roof. They have awesome hands. They can turn their bodies and do crazy. They can broad jump like 11 feet, which is, you think about how like a basketball hoop is 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. These numbers are crazy. Did you watch it much? Or did you check it out?
So that's what I was about to say to everyone. So this weekend was my boy's bachelor party. And of course we did a couple of like sporting things. So we did like,
where'd you
bowling,
go again?
We did in the area. So we went like to the casino,
okay.
We did bowling and different things. So we were able to have TVs there. And I was able to watch it a lot. Then also you got to think whenever we took breaks, if someone was too drunk or like they needed a bit to sit down, or if they went out, I was like, shit, like, let me just put this on and watch it. So there were a couple of people that I'll list off, just give you guys my takes. I watched the punters for a second. So Matt Araiza, my man can boot that shit.
Boot it, bro.
And that was ridiculous. Another one, because I know he went to Liberty, but a lot of people thought that he started at Liberty. Hell no. My man has an arm that was not starting at Liberty. And Malik Willis has a cannon because my man chucked that shit. I don't know if people saw it out there, but he chucked it one time a little bit too far and the guy couldn't catch it. But That was a big one. The ones that stood out to me, Marquise Hayes, I was watching the guards and linemen because, you know, the Eagles need a lineman, of course. Sky Moore was someone that stood out and did very well. Hassan Haskins, he can bench press a lot.
Yeah.
Like over 25 times that man bench pressed it.
Yep.
The hell? And then another one that I was paying attention to, pretty sure it was the Memphis guy, Calvin Austin. So I watched him for a second because a lot of times for people that haven't watched a combine, the first thing they'll get you in is the 40-yard dash. So everyone will watch the 40, but then a lot of people that focus on the combine, they'll look at different drills and stuff. So I was focusing a lot of times on like what the linemen and stuff were doing, what the drills where they have to like start on the ground, like the 5-yard wave and stuff. They start on the ground, they have to shuffle their hips. And you can see the good ones compared to the ones that need a little bit of work. And then when they have to end up doing like the chip blocking drill. So like it'll be the two lined up and then the other one has to go to the other side. I like watching those because you get to see who understands it and the ones that are more so guessing compared to the ones that are like waiting and then are able to react. So those are the big ones. I am curious. Again, I have to focus on this stuff because I will be calling up Howie saying like, what the hell are you doing with those 3 damn first round picks? We should not mess this up. Like all we need is they're going to find some way because we don't do anything right. But normally we only have 1 first round pick. We have 3. You cannot mess up 3 times.
You will.
Get a damn receiver, get a lineman, and then get a linebacker or a safety. We have so much to work with. All the receivers out there you can do. Dog, if you don't do it the first round, get one of the good ones that are going to be around the second round. Hell, if you don't even want Miles Sanders anymore, get a damn running back. Do whatever you want. Just don't get a quarterback, and we'll be good.
I saw they have a late round pick, a late first round pick, right?
They're all in the teens. So we have like 14, 15, and something else.
I think I saw
they're all
Jahan
right next to
Dotson.
each other.
I think I saw Jahan Dotson was one of the mock drafts had him going to the Eagles. But yeah, they're a little screwed up, dude. You know, a little screwed up.
Yes. So we have the 15, the 16, and the 19. That's
I think the 19th pick was I saw where they had Jahan Dotson in that, but yeah, a little screwed up.
So big thing is, shout out. The Eagles should not get a slot. You need a bigger receiver because we have too many small guys already. So that's one thing. Dallas Goedert, just find someone to help Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert out, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But those are the big things that I had for this week. We will talk a lot next week because signings do start this weekend. Well, unofficial start on Sunday, of course. During the middle of the week, it'll end up coming out. And then next weekend, Steven and I will I'll have a good amount in 2 weeks for you guys. I do have a surprise for everyone out there. I'm trying to either go to the Brooklyn Nets and Grizzlies game, or I'll try to either go to the Chicago Bulls and Wizards game. I got to figure out which one because, you know, them airline tickets are not cheap. And the Nets and the Grizzlies are not about to sponsor me for it. But what you got for the people?
Shout out to these blue screen glasses that I just got today.
Yeah.
The boys got some sensitive eyes, so help those eyes out by like 4:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, ready to pass out sitting in front of the computer all day. So if you guys are struggling with that, sitting at your computer screen, I just went to Amazon and found a pair of these are like $20. So shout out to them. Shout out to my son. Been giving a lot of shout outs to my daughter lately, but shout out to my son. He finished up soccer 2 weeks ago. He was the MVP of this session of soccer. So shout out to him. It's just me and the boy for the next 4 days. The wife and my daughter are on a little girls trip with my mother-in-law. So it's me and the boy till Sunday. So you can follow me on Instagram at Steven_Springer. Follow our next 4-day shenanigans via my Instagram story. I know you're not Instagram because you're a loser, but
is a bully. If you look at what he did to some of the kids, that's why they gave it to him.
Yeah, because they were afraid to give it to anybody else. But yeah, he is a bully. But he's 3 though. He's a bully. But shout out to them. Shout out to my wife and daughter enjoying. They've been trying to plan this girls trip for like the longest time, like years. Like when I say years, I mean like COVID took it out. Kids are always sick. Maybe someone's always doing something gets canceled. So they finally got it. So they're visiting some family. So yeah, next 4 days is me and the boy, and we're gonna hold it down. Have a little dudes day on Saturday. Watch some hoops, get some pizza, some wings, beers. You know,
That sounds like what a kid wants to do.
Yeah, bro. We're just gonna hang out in our boxers all day, bro, and just like chill. You know. Yeah. Oh, shout out! But follow me on Instagram. Follow the shenanigans. Yeah, I know that you're not on Instagram because you're, like I said, you're a loser, but whatever.
Yeah, I got my spies. Don't worry.
I know you do.
So my two, one of them involves kids. So I was in the grocery store. Yeah, I was in the grocery store, and I always knew everyone does their own thing. But kids, I promise you, have a kid lose a toy in a grocery store, and they will not care about anything that's going on. So this kid had a little race car, and it rolled under the aisle. So it's under all the groceries and stuff. And I'm over here, pushing the cart, trying to go around, trying to get my Ritz crackers. I kid you not, this kid blocked better and pushed better than the linebackers at the scouting combine, because he saw he couldn't get it on this side. So this man said, shit, ran away from his family, pushed this one lady a little bit out the way, skirted around, slid on the ground, and rolled under to make sure he could get his car. All for that. Nobody else in the store mattered.
Good for him.
That race car that he probably
him.
won't even have in a year from now.
No,
so
God no. No way. God
that
no.
was the first thing. The other one was I normally go to coffee shops to end up doing my work and stuff, and I see like the DoorDash people. So you get to see how much people care about their job and who doesn't care about their job. So there's one DoorDash person, I have to shout him out, because he came in, ran in the store, in the coffee shop, pick up the bag. I saw him run out, and sometimes you'll see someone like run out and like stop and start walking. No, he went out the coffee shop, ran across the street. So whoever he's delivering that food to, please give him a 5-star, because I ain't never seen somebody run in and run out to take their job that seriously. But that's what I got for you guys this week. Only thing that I'll tell you guys to end up looking out for, if you guys are in cryptocurrency, look out for a cryptocurrency called Poseidon that I showed you all. Other than that, Christian, Steven, we out.